and welcome to yet another video. It's really amazing to see you guys. I hope everyone's doing well. So I wanted to talk about something that has been heavy on my heart for a long while. Well, I feel like I'm being really dramatic. It hasn't been heavy on my heart, but whatever. It's something I want to talk about. So I wanted to share a few tips that has helped me over the past couple months. As a lot of us have done, we spent a lot of the pandemic, still in a pandemic, but we spent a lot of our time on TikTok, and during the lockdown period, looking at videos on TikTok, I stumbled upon a lot of videos on ADHD, and I felt so connected to all of it. Like, at first I was like, nah, I definitely don't have ADHD. But the more I looked at them, the more I started doing research on ADHD, I was like, actually, this really does sound like me. So on a journey of trying to figure out whether or not I have ADHD, I did talk to a few doctors. I had a few appointments, but long story short, things didn't pan out. Felt gaslit by a male doctor, still trying to figure out how to get a diagnosis. So I do not have an official diagnosis yet, but I do look up a lot of resources or tips and tricks for people with ADHD in order for them to stay productive, and I've been incorporating them into my life and trying to figure out the best ways for me to be productive, as well as like a really dope writer. And I want to share some of those tips with you guys because I feel like I see a lot of like tips and tricks for writers. Like, a lot of amazing authors, they do share their tips and tricks or the things that they do in order to keep themselves on track. But I feel so disconnected from a lot of them because I sound like I can't do it, but I feel like I definitely need a few adjustments in order for me to make those tips and tricks work, because my brain will pretty much fight me at every step of the way. So I wanted to share with you guys some of the things that I've kind of gathered in order to help me figure out how to stay focused as a writer with ADHD. It also could like be categorized as someone who has difficulty staying focused. A lot of whatever, maybe traumas, whatever, you have difficulties staying focused on your task, on your creative projects. And I've gathered a few tips that I feel like could help, and I feel like if you guys like them, then I can definitely do more in the future. Okay? All right, so first things first, I think that writing a very detailed to-do list is really great. I love writing lists. I feel like they are so helpful. They really keep me on track. So I didn't write a list today, which I actually should have, because this, like, I feel like my glasses are so like light right now. That's so weird. Anyways, I should have written a list today because it's not like I've been off track, but I feel like it would have definitely stopped me from doing what I'm doing right now, which is playing Sims while also making a YouTube video, because, that seemed like a great idea. I could easily pause this game, but I do not want to. Anyways, writing a detailed list is really good. So for example, if it's like, you want to get into the story, besides writing like write story, then you focus on writing about this one character on this specific journey. So I have one character who is really trying to uncover like a secret in their society. So I'll write, why is he nauseous? Is he pregnant? So I'll write, is he pregnant? Nah, he don't. I shouldn't play Sims while making this video. Okay, I paused the game. I'm gonna save it and leave it alone because I'm gonna be distracted. Okay, so also removing distractions is definitely really helpful. Not me not listening to my own advice. Anyways, so detailed list, as I was saying. So if you write a detailed list, all right, so Dante has to go to the library and uncover some resources or whatever. So I'll write a list being like, write a scene where Dante is going to the library and is uncovering X information. And I also like to write out how he's going to write just so that like I know exactly what I'm trying to focus on when I'm sitting down and writing. And I also allow myself permission, like if I'm like, okay, so I'm focusing on writing this scene and I'm trying to gather this amount of information. If I finish writing that and I just don't want to write for like a little bit, if I want to go on a little bit of a break, then I allow myself to do that because I did something that's on my to-do list. Because sometimes steaming your whole entire way through whatever list or whatever project or whatever that you're trying to do, it can be very detrimental to you. Maybe you'll feel drained, maybe you'll feel washed out. So I would like to, like after I finish like writing, like doing like one specific thing, then I'll be like, do I want to go back and see if I talked about this one character before, or because I'm in a part right now in my story where I've been jumping from like the front of the beginning of the story to the back of the story to the middle of the story. I've been doing a lot of jumps because I'm like, oh yeah, it'll be really interesting if I'm trying to incorporate nanotech into my story right now. And nanotech has so many different like, it can do so many different things. And I feel like I also kind of like, I don't overwhelm myself when I'm writing, but I feel like I'm writing a science fiction story, so I'm trying to incorporate a lot of fucking science in it because I love science. I think it's so cool. So I'm trying to like go through it and like thoroughly figure out, you know, what's best. I don't really remember how I got here, but jumping from story to story, trying to figure out exactly what I want, but trying to also stay focused to make sure that I'm still moving the story along, because as I already said, I'm jumping from places to place, but because I keep jumping, I'm not really moving the entirety of the story along. So I try to make sure that okay, let me finish writing this chapter and maybe another chapter before I decide to go back and incorporate some sort of element into the story. So yeah, anyways, the next tip is trying to minimize your distractions. And as I already said, definitely shouldn't have been playing Sims while making a video. Not a great idea because I was definitely distracted for a minute. But that said, when I plan on like sitting out and writing, I always like to make sure that I have snacks close by, or even a meal, like, okay, well, I have this meal here and all I need to do is to pop it in the microwave and then I can just come back to work, because I can really be in a flow. And when you're in that flow, if you have a difficulty focusing, once you're in that flow, once you come out of that flow, it's difficult trying to go back to it. At least for me, it's really hard for me to get back into the flow. So what I like to do is to just make sure that all the distractions that I may have are completely and totally minimized. I usually sit at my desk with my headphones on, noise cancellation headphones. Excuse me. I have tea close by, I have water close by, the bathroom isn't that far of a walk away, and I know that if I leave the bathroom at a certain point, then no one's going to talk to me, no one's going to interact with me. The same goes with food, making sure I have something to eat, making sure that I don't have to go all the way downstairs, because I live in a big house. If I have to go all the way downstairs to go and cook myself something to eat, then when I come back to my desk, I'm not going to want to go back into writing, because I've already taken myself so completely out of flow of creation that I'd just rather focus my attention on something else. So minimizing as much distractions as possible and making sure all of your needs can be met at your desk or wherever the hell you're planning on writing. Having sounds for you to listen to is also incredibly helpful. Sometimes I'll like listen to just like really calming, like waves, oceans, water. But sometimes listening to that, it actually kind of makes me even more distracted. So I would probably put on like an episode of Doctor Who, an episode that I've seen many times before, but I don't have to pay attention to anything that's going on in it. And it also keeps me into like a science fiction-y kind of feel, you know what I mean? Because like, for example, when I'm writing 32 Orchard Street, I used to, before it was taken off Netflix, I used to put Charmed on, the old one, because I watched it all through like 3 times over, so I don't really have to pay attention to the story, but it's also important for me to be in like a witchy kind of mindset, you know? And my battery's about to die, so give me a second. And we're back. So also in minimizing distractions. Oh wait, I had an idea and then I lost it. Hold on. Along with minimizing distractions, I feel like there's one thing that I saw somewhere that I can't really remember where, but it spoke about people with ADHD having to build a charge in order to get something done. So for example, I will wake up in the morning and be like, okay, so today I'm going to write, and in order for me to make sure that, like, you know, I stay focused on my writing, I once again make sure I have a good breakfast, I've drank water, I've taken my meds, and if like just before I went to bed I really wondered why the sky was blue or something like that, and I know that's gonna like stay in my mind throughout the entire day, so I'll make sure that I try and figure out why the sky is blue and let my brain wander on, oh, the sky was blue because of this, and because you know your brain can go to jump from thing to thing, and that kind of actually helps me like go into the story. Or I've been looking a lot into figuring out how to actually play D&D and how to write characters and stuff like that. So if I wanted to go on a whole brain tangent trying to figure out how to play D&D, how to get certain characters, how to do blah 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 blah, I will let my brain and like go off on all of that, so that when I am ready, when I've exhausted all of the when I've exhausted all of like the thoughts, the tangents, the yada yadas, well, the blah blah blah, because you know I can't figure out the word that I'm trying to think of. Once I've exhausted all of that, then I will be like, okay, cool, I can sit down and do some work. It's also akin to like if you're like, I have to write an email to my dog's vet, I have to make sure that I send a text message to my friend telling her that I love her, you know, just tiny stuff like that, that you know that if you do it before you sit down and write, if you do it before you begin to creating, then you'll stay on track and you'll actually stay focused. Because sometimes I'll be like, oh no, I'm trying, like I used to be like, Janae, you're writing, we are writing today, and that's it. But I will be so distracted drafting like an email in my head of what I could possibly say to this person while I'm also trying to write about aliens or something. You know, it's hard to stay focused when you have something else on your mind, something else that you really want to do. That also involves like maybe going on a long walk before you sit down and write, because then you'll get like the physical jitters instead of the mental jitters. Because I feel like I can also kind of like, from myself, I kind of call it could kind of like go into like jitters, like, you know, you kind of get like so like, I'm so excited to do da 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 da, but you kind of need to expel a little bit of energy so that you can stay focused. I feel like that is a cool way to think of it, just kind of expelling energy, letting your brain wander and do like whatever the heck it wants to do. Even you can go, I'm about to hopefully figure out a way for me to like swim, because I really miss swimming. So I think that I feel like a day might be waking up, eating breakfast, and then going out swimming, and then coming back home to work. I feel like that would definitely be keep my brain a little bit more focused on like the creative tasks. I feel like this is a video that I definitely should not edit now that I'm thinking it, because whenever I do like rambly videos, like videos where I feel like I'm like talking off the cuff and like it's not really structured, or it's not like a vlog, I get so antsy when it comes to editing a video. I'm enjoying talking, but like I also need to allow myself to whatever. So the Pomodoro method, you know, where it's like 25 on and 25 off, or no, it's like 25-10. Look up the Pomodoro method. Some people use it and it's really helpful for them. I don't use the Pomodoro method. It's never really helped me at all. I feel like it only helps me when I am on days that I've gotten rid of, like, I've built charge enough for me to like get into the project. That can help. But sometimes I kind of like abuse the Pomodoro method and will be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to listen to like, I'm gonna write for 30 minutes, and then on the 10-minute break, I'm going to listen to an audiobook, or I'm going to watch a show, or even if it was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna like go downstairs, talk to my family for a bit. I will just be like, oh wow, I want to spend so much more time doing this one thing. And it's not really, and then it just distracts me from what I'm doing. Pomodoro method is healthy for some people, but it's helpful for some people, but it's not really helpful for me, because once I am in that focus flow and I'm ready to like get stuff done, I need to stay in that for as long as I possibly can. Because when I put that on pause, it's not it's difficult for me to get back into the flow. Let's see. I also wrote down being mindful of like what you're planning on doing when you're getting into the writing. Like, do you want to continue working on your draft? Do you want to do research? Do you want to do character analysis? And whatever you're doing when you sit at your desk to do some writing, any kind of writing that's going to help your story is writing. So if you're sitting at your desk and you're just like, shit, I don't really want to write this scene, actually I want to really further flesh out this character before I really delve into it, do that. If you want to like write, sometimes I'll be like, I really want to write, but I wonder what a note between two of these characters who are deeply in love with each other would say. And then I'll try and like write a note that's in the same voice or tone, or sometimes even handwriting as one of the characters that I'm creating, just for shits and giggles. And it also helps me get into like their mindset, their flow, their creative space, their love language or whatever. And it's really nice. It's really fun. Sometimes I'll spend some time just being like, what are their love language? Or I usually also like do like their whole birth chart, not whole birth charts, but sun, moon, rising, Venus, just because it's fun and just because it really does let me know like the characters and how far I can extend their like their actions or reactions to certain things. It's really interesting and it's a lot of fun for me, and it definitely goes into, you know, the writing category. My camera is about to be overheated because obviously things hate me. I only have one more thing to say, so I'm gonna pause and then I'm gonna come back. All right, I can hear my sister and nephew coming upstairs, so I'm going to make this as quick as possible. Last but not least, the best advice that I can definitely offer to anyone who struggles with focusing or has ADHD is write whenever you can. Some people can write an entire story, an entire novel within 3 months. Some people could write it in 2 weeks. And some people need like 12 years to write a book. Everyone goes at their own pace. Just write when you can write, and write when you don't write when you don't want to write. Don't force it, because then you're not gonna create your best work. Be easy with yourself, be easy with the process, take care of yourself, and yeah, you're an amazing writer, and so am I. No matter how long it takes for us to write our books, write our poetry, write our whatever, it's okay. And yeah, be easy with yourself. That's the last tip I have for you for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. My Sims characters are all doing weird stuff, but thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys when I see it, which is definitely next week. Also, like, I don't know how to do this yet because I have like the worst storage on my laptop, but if you are interested in watching me play Sims, I am totally down. I fucking love playing this game, and if this can categorize as content that people like to watch, I will be happy as fuck, okay? But yeah, thank you guys for watching. I'm hopefully going to write a little bit today, but I'm gonna go downstairs and make myself something to eat first. Hear my family at. But yeah,